Welcome back to Chap Chat. My name is John Denny, and we are picking up where we left off last time as we are talking to Major Dena Ogden, who is sharing her story of really tragedy, but also hope that's found in the midst of that tragedy. So let's get it started. Back to Major Ogden.
So before I ask you about that,
Okay.
you said you were numb. Do you recall how long that numbness lasted?
So, General McCarty and the chief of staff at the time was Colonel Hall, retired Dale Hall.
Yeah.
They came to the house to see me. I'll never forget that. They told me that I need to take some time, stay home, and then can return to work. At the time, I was on orders. They were trying to figure out,
Sure.
So I stayed home for about 3 months before I went back. Got orders down at the G3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Under Colonel Kelvin Brown.
Okay. And so
I don't think I went out of the house the whole 3 months. It was
you isolated.
crying.
Yeah,
yeah. The school was wonderful. They came. They brought an album, like a photo album book that they did. Brought stuff from the school, letters that the kids wrote from his class.
Wow.
I remember standing there just, receiving this box of things. But I came back after the 3 months, and it was rough. I would sit at my desk, just staring or trying to get motivated to work. There's a couple times I'd have to walk out, go out back, and then I'd come back in. Colonel Brown would stop and say, Dena, you okay? Everything good? Everything's okay? I'd say, yes, sir. He knew,
Sure.
People would stop. Some would stop, ask me how I was doing. There was a lot of people, and I know this because I've been there, but they would walk by who would talk to me before the deployment, see me all the time and speak, but kept on going or kind of hesitated.
Yeah.
They wanted to say something, but they didn't. They didn't know what to say, so they were uncomfortable, but they kept going. I was like, wow.
What would you suggest for someone that's in that situation or find themselves in that situation in the future? You're right, they don't know what to say.
Right.
But what were you hoping or wishing that maybe they would have said?
They didn't have to say anything. They could have just, given me a hug, or if they're uncomfortable with that, or speak, or, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
But
just some acknowledgement.
These were soldiers that I'd worked with or knew, but again, I understand why.
Yeah.
Now with this experience, when someone goes through that situation, there is nothing I know, well, personally for me, that you could say that would make me feel better. And to be honest, at that time, I didn't want to hear it. Some people did try, like, Dena, I know what you're going through. I lost a grandmother, or I lost this. And I'm thinking, that is not the same.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
Then I was mad. Now I appreciate what they were. They were just trying to make me feel better, or kind of relate, or bring some kind of word of encouragement.
Yeah, let you know you're not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So now going through, anybody that has a loved one, or I just give them a hug.
Yeah.
Or ask them, are you okay? Or I don't sit there and say, I lost a son. I know exactly. I may, if the situation is right, like if there's an opportunity, and I know, but nobody wants, in my opinion, I didn't want to hear that at the time.
Yeah, you remind me of a book that I read. It's called Lament for a Son, and it was written by this doctor of philosophy, and he worked at Yale or Harvard or some school I could never get into. And he had lost his 21-year-old son in a mountain climbing accident. And this book, it's a small book, but it's really a kind of a journal or collection of thoughts, where 1 minute he's questioning God. Then the next minute he's praising God for the time that he had with him. And there's one entry that he has in there that's called the Mourning Bench, Mourning. And he's like, here I sit on my mourning bench, but yet you don't want to come sit here with me because it's too awkward. but you are of no use to me standing over there. Come close and sit next to me on my morning bench. And that's always resonated for me as a chaplain, because you don't have to have the words to say.
Right.
Sometimes the presence of just being there, sitting with people in their sorrow and their grief and their guilt, it's enough.
Right. Just like that soldier on the plane, he didn't know what to say, but he put his hand on my back, and that was comfort enough.
Right.
Yeah.
You had said you went into a dark place. What's that mean for Dena? What'd that look like? And if you don't want to share, that's okay.
No. I feel like, in my opinion, I'm very happy, upbeat, positive person.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
In the mornings, I love playing music. I'll sing and dance. It's just
In the mornings.
in the morning. Like I've
that
always,
must annoy your husband to no
Well,
end.
he just laughs at me. Okay. It's like, God, I can't carry a tune. But yeah. And if I am sad or down for a few days, I'm up. I'm not a negative person. Never have been.
Mm-hmm.
So always try, to look at the good in things.
Right.
Always believed there's a reason for everything. I just didn't know at that time what that was.
Yeah.
Why,
Sure.
But yeah, it kind of took a course over a few years of just going down.
What did you do to try to eventually pull yourself out of it, or was it just time?
It was time. God, eventually. He was always there. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah, even within the family, my husband didn't want to stay in the house. Took a position in Texas, wanted me to move, sell the house. Men and women grieve different.
Sure.
Right? But I'm not thinking clearly. I didn't want to leave. I'm not leaving this house. This is where I left my son.
Mm-hmm.
I go up to his room every day. I still had his clothes in his pantry, his little dirty clothes, that little boy sweaty smell. I'd pick his clothes out and I'd smell them, and
Right.
I'd lay on his bed and, look at all his things and cry. My daughter, it got to where she came home from school and we weren't there yet. She didn't want to go in. She'd sit outside and wait. So I went through all those emotions of, am I selfish or is he selfish? Why are you taking me from this house where I left my son? And I just wasn't in the right mind to think clearly. He found him in this house.
Right. You're so wrapped up in
His
your own
memories are different than mine. So our house or our home was not a home anymore. It was just a house.
Yeah.
Empty shell. And it was fairly new. We had built it for the kids in the neighborhood with a pool, and we had a media room upstairs. We'd go up there and watch TV or play. I think it was Xbox at the time. I don't know.
We.
Yeah. My son loved it. It just, Brian would take trips and be gone.
Right.
Fighting, family issues, just a bunch of stuff. And nothing got dealt with.
Right.
Sleep issues, drinking alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I will be the first to admit that I couldn't sleep and I didn't want to take medication. And so I saw my mom go through a lot. I didn't want to depend on anything. So I can handle it. I'm just going to have a couple drinks at night till I fall asleep. But then that wasn't working.
Right.
And then I had a daughter, it hit me. It was like, hey, you're still a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember a couple times dreaming about him. The first time I woke up almost just in panic, like, And then I had a friend say, maybe that's God's way of showing you he's okay.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I hope I dream about him tonight.
Right. Just changing perspective a little bit.
I remember one dream, which is crazy because we haven't had a house phone in when? How many years have you had a house phone, right? But I remember the phone ringing, and I went to the wall and picked it up, and I said, hello. And I heard Gavin say, Mama, hey, it's me. I'm like, Gavin, where are you at? He goes, Mom, I'm playing. I said, Gavin, it's time to come home. Where are you at? And he goes, Mom, it's okay. I'm playing with the other children. You know, some may say, okay, it's just a dream, but I don't know my faith. I think that was just God's way of saying he's okay. You know, I had little things like that past few years happen that I had to focus on. Like, okay, you know, I had to come to the realization that he's not suffering anymore.
Right.
He's made it. He's where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I don't have to worry about him now. Now, Sierra, my poor child.
This your daughter?
Oh gosh, yeah, my daughter. She's 26 now. But yeah, where are you going, Sierra? What time are you gonna be there? Call me when you.
Well, and
I even had a tracker on her phone, like, you're speeding slow. I text her, slow down. She's like, Mom, that's creepy. You're trying. I'm like, no, slow down.
Well, and you were heading the direction I wanted to take it. So how has the experience that you had with Gavin shaped the relationship with Sierra? Have you found yourself being more protective? Have you found yourself trying to make up for lost time with Gavin and pouring that energy into Sierra? How has that shaped that maternal relationship and your and respecting her as an adult now?
It took some time. It didn't happen overnight. Or Sierra was going through her own issues, her own guilt. I did set up a counselor a few times for her to talk to. Mm-hmm. She tried it. She didn't care for it. But we're very close. All three of us never really did counseling. Like I tried group counseling. I didn't like it. One-on-one, you know, I don't know. I think worked for us is just as a family, we started just being very close. I was very protective at first, and it's just like I said, she would get aggravated, like, Mom. I was like, you have to understand. And she did, you know. There was a gap, I think, when she went to college, but that's normal. As a freshman, like, Mom, you don't know anything. And but overall, we've been very close. We're close more now, our family, than ever before, even before Gavin.
Wow.
Passed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's a blessing, because there's one of two things can happen when something like Gavin, your family can either be splintered,
right,
and there's no recovery from it. And it sounds like for a while, y'all were starting to go in that direction.
Absolutely.
What brought y'all back together?
God.
How so?
Yeah. It a few years ago, like I said, I was in a dark place. I think my husband, well, I don't think, I know he was in a dark place. I think the one solid was Sierra. That was kind of the glue trying to hold it. Mm-hmm. Again, we both fighting. He was gone, drinking. I finally caved in, got on some medication that, you know, I was prescribed. Mm-hmm. Didn't work for me. I had serious side effects. Depressed. I became depressed. Like depression.
I remember you had shared some of that with me when we were out at 351, I think. And you were trying to get through ILE, and you're like,
I'm trying to get through ILE at the time. My husband and I were talking about divorce. Mm-hmm. My you know, other just problems, family issues I was trying to take on that I shouldn't have. Taking something to stay awake, taking something to go to sleep, can't sleep, not eating, just going down, fighting.
So how did you find some healing? I have an idea of what you're going to say, but how do you ultimately, and I'm not saying that you've totally healed, because there's going to be that sorrow, that grief you're going to carry in your heart for probably until you meet Gavin up in heaven. But how have I look at where you are now, which appears to be healthy,
Yes.
So how have you taken yourself from a dark place with a family that appears to be fractured and gotten it out of the ditch and back onto the road?
So,
And I'm sorry, because you said counseling didn't really help.
yeah.
Group counseling didn't help.
And maybe I haven't found the right counselor. So I don't want anybody to take the message wrong that, it can. And I did get a few things, but I don't think I had the right
I understand.
counselor. And I tried several. I had one, she was a mother of 3 boys. And when I would start to talk about Gavin, she'd start crying. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to cry.
Right. Yeah.
But she was the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably sit and talk to her and, have coffee with her or something, but this ain't working.
But the counseling relationship isn't.
She gave me a few pointers and I thought, oh, okay. But for most part, it was like textbook. Like, I don't need that. I can read or,
And that's okay.
Right.
And I because this is your story. And
at the time I was so angry. Like, when I did the group, again, like I said previous, I'd hear other people say I did this or I lost my grandma. I'm like, grandmas are supposed to pass. I lost my grandmother.
Right.
And, don't take that wrong, but
No.
I was just so
It's a natural
angry.
progression of life.
Right. Maybe if I had tried therapy with other parents that lost children, I was just in the wrong setting.
Yeah.
And I was still so angry. When I tell you, I would go from being angry to sad, crying, it's just a roller coaster.
And you've tried meds that didn't work.
Oh no,
And you tried counseling, it didn't necessarily work for you. So what did you find that eventually you're able to draw some strength from to be able to realign yourself and to get you pointed back in that true north?
So one night we were all out. I think this was the beginning. Like, I knew this was bad, I knew we were going down. Like, I was so miserable. And I'd been drinking. Me and my husband got into it, and we fought. My daughter was there, and seeing the disappointment on her face, even though she's an adult, but just my behavior, I disappointed her, and it hurt. And, without all the nasty details of it, I woke up and I remember sitting up looking at my husband and said, oh my God, what happened? And, and that was it. I said, all meds are done, because I went back and read some side effects, and I thought maybe this was just a combination of the drinking and depending on this or, and he was there for me. We both laid off, but it wasn't enough. There was still, he could say something and, set me off or vice versa. We were just so angry. And one of my soldiers, it was a Sunday morning. I was on my back deck having coffee that morning. And he texted me and said, ma'am, I'm at church and I'm saying a prayer for you.
Just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. He was aware of some of the situation, what was going on, some of the things that I was dealing with. My husband and I talked to him both about, is it okay if I say his name? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, it's First Sergeant Ronnie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
And he always took time to talk to me and my husband. And he would occasionally say, I'm going to be praying for you, but it didn't really hit home until that morning when I knew growing up, or when I had my family and we were a happy home at that time, going to church, for him to text me and say, I'm at church and I'm praying for you. It was like something ran through me, and I just immediately got up. I went into my bedroom and I fell to my knees and I cried and I cried. My husband followed after.
And what were those tears about?
Oh, I think first, like in every prayer, I start off with is forgiveness. I need forgiveness.
So you fell to your knees and started praying.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's what prompted the tears.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I was at that time just giving everything to God.
It's just a purging
Oh, yeah.
cry.
Well, feeling like I have abandoned him, and just feeling bad, just all over for years. Anger. I felt, I'm crying because I was angry for so long, and I was tired of it. And then my husband comes in and he grabs my hands, and we both just pray. Like, we just prayed, and I had to give it to God. That was the beginning. Of course, it wasn't like,
right.
oh, the next day everything's rainbows and blue skies. No, it was a challenge, but.
Did you feel a certain release?
I did. Absolutely. And, I like to work out. I like to garden. I love music. I played multiple instruments growing up, but everything that I loved doing, anything that brought me some type of joy or just relaxation or just whatever, I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't garden. I couldn't do anything. Everything was just, like I said, I was just numb and angry for so long.
And then when you fell to your knees and you're crying and you and your husband are praying, what then? How did that change or shape your perspective moving forward?
Like I said, it was just the start. It was the beginning. I felt like, okay, I'm moving forward.
But was it a reconnection with your faith that you felt like maybe you had lost?
Yes, but still it took multiple prayers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but I felt like that was the beginning. That was the beginning.
Have you been able to reconcile your anger with God?
Yeah. I don't think I ever was, like I said at the beginning, I never was angry at God. I just didn't understand why. I knew better than to,
Yeah.
holler at God. I don't know. I say that, but maybe inside, I was just angry.
How has your faith changed as a result of this?
Oh, I'm definitely stronger, believe it or not, more resilient. There's no going back. That's taking a long time, some years to finally say or to actually do it. Like, there's no going back. Even with my husband and I, we'd sit there and have a conversation and it would turn into an argument or whatever. And, now we get to that point, I'm like, hey, or he'll say the same thing, like, because we lost respect for each other. Once you do that for somebody,
right.
Respect's you got to have respect to have love.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm
True.
sure that y'all probably said some things out of anger, out of grief that you didn't mean.
Absolutely.
But sometimes when those words are out, there's no taking them back.
Right.
Even if they were said in a fit of frustration.
Right. Oh, we said a lot of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forgiveness.
So how's your relationship with your husband now?
Better than ever. Better than, like I said before. We lost Gavin. And I remember at one point we sat down to talk and he said, that's what I want. I want us to become friends again. Let's work on being friends.
Yeah, let's start
and
there.
Then
start there.
The husband and wife relationship. And, we just celebrated 30 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You've been married that long and then you get to, look, now it's not worth the fight. It's not worth it.
Right. That's amazing. If there's someone listening that's gone through something similar, what words of advice or wisdom do you have?
You can't do it alone. Whether you believe in God or some other source of higher being or whatever, you just can't do it alone.
You got to draw your strength from something.
You got to draw your strength from something. That's right. And I thought about this. And
I'm so proud of you, by the way. Or for those that, this isn't videoed, but Dena, bless her heart, she wrote 2 pages of stuff, highlighted, and after the first 3 minutes, she just folded it up and put it away.
I know.
So bless her heart, I was like, Dena, this isn't the Gettysburg Address. We're not reading.
Well, like I said before, sometimes I tend to ramble, and it's like, shut up and get the point out. But
I'm so proud of you, though.
I'm not going to read.
I know, but
I really thought about, I prayed. I was like, what do I say? I didn't know what you were going to ask. But yeah, there's a lot of challenges in the military. It's not just in every day, service, toxic leadership, whatever it may be. Which, by the way, you can learn a lot from toxic leadership, and I have. I think I'm a better leader, 1, for that.
Yeah.
And 2, from the experiences that I've been on.
Right.
Or been through, I should say.
And it's unfortunate that exists, but by and large, I would think our organization has some really strong leaders, but unfortunately there are those that.
And I mentioned several, like Colonel Brown. I'll never forget how, even now, he, asks me how I'm doing. I know he asks a lot of people. He's a great mentor.
Yeah.
So they're out there.
They are.
There's good leaders. There's good and there's bad. But, I try to be the best every day and use some of my experiences or things I've gone through. How can I help somebody? No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I still have challenges every day. I mean, I start my day off with, hey, God, it's me again, but forgiveness. And I think, forgiving not just yourself, but others. Don't allow others, because I fell into that. Others that have done things to me, against me, whatever. And I allowed them to affect me.
Mm-hmm.
And you have control, not that person. So it's taking me a long time to figure that out. But yeah, I'm in control. You're in control. Don't allow others. And forgiveness. You got to forgive. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Because for a long time I blamed, or I took on what other people did, and I carried it. And that wasn't mine to carry,
Yeah.
I'm not standing in front of God answering for their sins. I'm only accountable for mine. And that took me a long time to realize. And when I did, and I gave it all to God and said, okay, God, I give it to you. I stand by it. I'm not going to pick it up. It's hard. Again, we're not perfect. We're going to think about things, but it's no longer mine to carry. So it's taken me a long time for that. Like, I'm moving forward. I'm not moving backward. What I did, what I said, my actions, whatever, that's in the past. So that's what me and my husband say now. We're moving forward. We don't even look back. Don't bring that up like you did 5 years ago.
Right.
You left the seat up and I fell into it. Why did you do that?
Right.
Like, no, we move forward.
Yeah.
So that's the advice I give somebody: to forgive. Forgive others, forgive yourself. Don't.
That's hard.
You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And because I'm going to tell you, I'm so grateful to be in the military. I am grateful for some friends that I've met. Just other soldiers that took the time to ask me how I was doing or send me a text or a scripture,
Yeah. It drops in the bucket. Every single one's a little drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Sergeant Major Ochoa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the texts and the scriptures and the, I'm thinking of you, and listen to this song. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. It can be anything. Just check on somebody. Check on your buddy.
That's good. That's great advice. It's hard advice.
Yeah, it took me a long time to say. It's taken me years.
Oh yeah.
To get where.
Yeah, but thank God you've grown through that grief and that tragedy that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I really thank you for sharing your story with us. It's a powerful story. And the fact that you were able to just be raw with it and real with it and
unscripted.
Yes, unscripted. Yes, we'll go with that. Unscripted, to just be able to share your story in where you have no idea where people are going to be hearing it. And I assure you, no one's going to be judging when they hear this, because of your journey is amazing. And as I said, your story is your story, and that's what we're trying to do, is give an opportunity for people to tell their story so they can, in the strength that you have gained through this experience, maybe other people can draw strength from your experience.
Yeah, I hope so. I had the privilege of being the CAO of the soldier that passed, so that was...
How was that?
I was honored to do it.
Isn't it?
It was such an honor at first. I was nervous. But the soldier that handled Gavin's funeral and all the paperwork, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't think about anything. I didn't worry about anything. So I just felt so honored to do it.
Right. An opportunity to give back to
and
someone else.
And that's exactly, I got the phone call. They asked me, are you okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember I came and asked you.
Yeah, you asked me if I was okay. And I was like, no, I'm actually giving back. Like, no, it's an honor. And then it was a soldier,
Yeah.
The final inspection of the uniform. Like, what an honor.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's probably one of the toughest things you'll ever have to do, but one of the most honoring.
Absolutely.
That we can do. Well, Dena, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming on here and sharing your story, and for who you are, and for what you bring to this organization, and really the spirit in which you've shared your story, and how we've been able to you've been able to walk us through your growth, that be able to paint that picture, albeit without video.
Right.
But thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome. No,
it.
thank you for having me.
So thank you for y'all that stayed with us this whole episode of Chap Chat. And I pray that someone out there has gotten something from this. And if you have, that's exactly what this podcast is about. And I'm sure that if you have any questions or if you're going through something, Major Ogden would be more than willing. I'm putting words in your mouth now.
That's fine.
But
I would.
if you've got questions, yeah, I know your heart. I know your heart. So if she can help you in any way, reach out to her. If I can do anything for you, or if you have a story of resilience you'd like to share, please hit me up. I'd love to hear it. Love to be able to sit and talk with you about it. And until next time, God bless. Chap Chat out.